So let's talk a couple of things, Mr. Oster, Doug Oster, DougOster.com, an amazing guest coming up in our next segment. So last-minute gift-giving ideas for the gardener in the household or maybe yourself.
Well, I know it's not a personal gift, but it's the best thing for gardeners. Actually, is a gift certificate. I would love to get a $100 gift certificate to Sorgel's.
Yeah, baby.
If you know where your gardener shops and what they want, get them a gift certificate. They'll love it. They can pick what they want. If they're looking for a certain plant, this or that. The other thing is, as the gift giver, give them some seeds of something you want. You want them to grow, because that's what we do as gardeners. We love growing for people. That's how I started with beets. My wife wanted beets, and I didn't like beets because I was served those canned beets that my mother tried to force us to eat. But I didn't know how good beets were, and so I grew them for my wife, and she roasted them, and they have the highest sugar content of just about any other vegetable, and I fell in love with beets. So you could do the same thing. Lots of other things. Good garden gloves. We all need good garden gloves. You might have a pair, but you need a pair out there, a pair in here. Good bypass pruner, hand bypass pruner. Felco makes a great one. If you ever see the gardeners at Phipps or at Pittsburgh Botanic Garden and you look in that little holster, it's always going to have these little red handles for the Felco pruner. And top quality garden tools. Whenever you're buying garden tools for a gardener, don't cheap out. I want tools that I'm using my grandparents' tools. I want my grandkids to use my tools. So buy a good garden tool. It just makes sense. And then house plants. You got any house plants?
I do.
Are they still alive?
They're plastic. No, I have no house plants. I do not.
We need to set you up with a house plant that can't be killed. Where the only way to kill it would be overwatering it. If you just keep it on the dry side, but don't neglect it, then you'll be okay. But there's lots of cool house plants out there. That's another thing. For us old gardeners, a nice padded kneeler. You just put that on the ground, and I just finished planting about 150 bulbs, and I used that kneeler. I still have some to plant, believe it or not.
That would work for the rosary tonight, too.
I knew that was coming. A harvest basket, pretty harvest basket would be nice.
Yeah.
When you go out. And you're actually talking about putting tomatoes in this year. Is that right?
Well, let me tell you a quick story. My man, Lou Bruno, 5-star remodelers, we are all signed, sealed, and delivered. It has been 2 months, full throttle, and the impetus behind it was this guy giving me some tips and tricks, and, of course, the good folks at True Value and Joe Potoshnik at JP Roofing, Metropolitan Windows. It's been a team effort. And Andy and Mike, too, of course, True Value, have been a big help. But here's what a guy told me. I got a couple of stumps in the backyard. I've been hoping to get a friend down there to remove them. But this guy is a tremendous worker. There isn't anything Lou Bruno can't do. He said, here's a quick idea to remove stumps. You basically get copper spikes, drive them into the stump, walk away for a while, and then basically they're very easy to remove on your own. Now, depending on if it's a sequoia, that's a different story. But he also said, because I'm close to the riverbed, that I have some of the easiest dirt that he's ever dug.
Oh.
So that may be a blessing.
That
and we
might
decided
be a
to
good
put
spot for some
plants.
tomatoes.
Yeah. So something to think about. But I know you're behind all of this, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to prove you proud, and I'm going to grow some tomatoes this year.
Oh, the pressure's going to be on, though, because every week we'll be asking, how's your tomato plant? What's going on?
Well, you can take stake in what I plan on doing with my tomatoes. They're going to be luscious, delicious because of that riverbed. So I'm looking forward to it. Hey, one more thing. Doug's a huge part of the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and obviously he enjoys that wonderful cuisine with his family on Christmas Eve, and that's how he plugged into it years ago while preparing, listening, he and his bride and children and family and friends. And he will be a part of it at the McKnight Road store, 5:30 a.m. until 1 with me. But the feast actually begins the broadcast. The Costas will be there, former Governor Corbett, Rick Granati. They're all going to be there. And, of course, we want phone calls from you, too, when the curtain goes up at 9. But that is a huge tradition in your household.
Yeah, cooking starts today, so the pressure...
Does it really?
Oh, yeah. It starts today. I think the first thing is going to be the seafood lasagna, which is a favorite, but... The fridge is packed. The freezer's packed. it's going to be an all-day cooking day today, and my job is going to be just to take care of the dogs, I think. And I think I'll be going. I actually think I'll be going to the grocery store.
No, it'll be. Let me run to the grocery store, and you'll end up at Hal's watching some NFL game.
Actually, I have a Christmas party at 6:00, so I'm hoping to sneak out for that. It's just down the street.
My man, he's the guy that definitely knows how to plan things. All right, now listen. All of the people that have helped us this year, that is 2024, before the year gets away from us, the great sponsors, the Sorgels, the Janoskis, so many others, we are grateful for everything that you do for us. And what I love is how Doug goes out, interviews these folks, passes on all sorts of great ideas to the listeners, and obviously his huge audience via social media. But the thing that I've also thought about the year-end show that will be next week is the fact that the travel log. Every year you travel to more and more amazing places. It's incredible where you've been.
I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky. And next is London, and I can't wait to see London again. The gardens in London are just spectacular. It's just everybody there gardens. And so every street that you walk down, every museum that you go in, there's some kind of crazy plant you've never seen before, and they want to talk gardening. I can't wait to see London again. I love London, and yes, I've been very lucky. This is a garden-centric tour, not all gardening, but mostly gardens, and that's the way you got to see London. It's stunning.
All right, and also one thing that Doug and I love to promote, there are some people, yes, believe it or not, even though you may have groceries, as many things as you need to prepare and enjoy, if you have some of that stuff that's left over from the garden, please reach out, Community Food Bank, Pittsburgh, and of course there are people in your own community who are dealing with these food inequities. So please step up and help out. And remember that wonderful community food bank here in the great community of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. All right, who's coming up after the break?
We're going to be talking to Keith Kaiser. He's executive director of the Pittsburgh Botanic Garden about something that I love, and it's called Dazzling Nights, and it's something you should see.
Dazzling Nights, the topic of conversation when we get back. Doug Oster, DougOster.com. It's your Pratt Pack. This is The Organic Gardener on KDKA Pittsburgh.